Okay, we're here with Greenie. As you know, I was just at Ole, Pennsylvania, as you know. What you don't know is that I was just looking at a friend of mine's knucklehead collection, and he has a pristine 40 and 42, which are even nicer than Greenie. And what we're going to discuss is cycle ray headlights. Now, Greenie has no ground in the back here, no ground screw here, right under here. There's no ground screw on the side or rivet on the side, way under here. Get underneath. Nope, underneath. Let go. So there's no rivet, no ground screw under there. No rivet, no ground screw under there. Now, we've got our 240s here and a 41. Both of these bikes here, there's no ground screw here, there's no ground screw here, a rivet under here. Same thing here, no ground screw here, there's no rivet, there's no screw on the sides, anywhere. On the 41, see in the back here. Okay. There's nothing there. Again, we got nothing under here and nothing under here. Go back over to this other one. I don't think she got it quite right. It's hard to do the angle. Okay, see no ground screw there. There's no rivet under there, a screw, and there's nothing over here. Now we're going to go over to some cycle ray lights. What our 38 here has is a military light. It's army green underneath. There's no number here. Military's had no number, but you can tell if you look at it sideways, you can see it's old glass. They do reproduce this. So that's old glass, it's not modern glass. Head giveaway. We have a ground screw way in the back, which you can see right there. That's what that is, where my finger is. That's the ground screw. So we found, going through these lights, I'm going to go over to Mud Dauber here. And until I went over these lights to make this video, I didn't even realize it. But here we've got a ground screw on the side. This is an early 47. And here's our 10,000-ish 47 with a ground screw in the back. Now again, that's a military light, so that's in the war. So at some point, at some time in the 40s, they started making these side rivets. So I'm going to give the camera back to Ophi here. Let her do this. Come on over here. Well, I was mentioning the rivet lights. This is what we call the early black 47 Mud Dauber. She was filled with these Mud Dauber nests. And here's the rivet light. This didn't come out till 49. As far as we can know, that doesn't mean some 48s didn't have it, but they made 14,000 48s. I've never had one. So I couldn't tell you that they didn't make this in 48. As far as I know, they didn't. But by 49, they certainly had this rivet. And here we've got a couple with the rear screw here. This is your ground screw. There's another one right there. That's your ground screw there. And here we've got a Newell stock one with a rivet. That's Newell stock again. Now somebody, I think, put this lens in. I'll never be able to know because I wasn't there. And someone, I think, chromed a military ring. That's why I think this was assembled out of parts. Because none of the factory ones that were chrome, this was chrome, this was CAD. If you don't believe me, here's one right here. See, that's CAD plate with CAD rivets on a chrome ring. That's how the factory did it. So somebody took a military ring on a Newell stock base, put a lens in. It's a 12, and I shouldn't have bought this light, but that's what happens when you're tired. I didn't realize it was a riveted one. So now here we have another side rivet. The problem with these lights is these buckets crack. So Any cracks around here, any cracks, if you buy one, you got to watch out for that because they're only good on a restoration. That doesn't mean you can't undo all this, fix all that, rechrome it, and reboot it and all that, but that's what has to be done. So you guys paying the stupid money on eBay, which I've seen, if you see cracks down here, if you see lines, that's a crack, pal. Don't buy it for stupid money. Get a good light. So here we have a new old stock one in the box. And I don't know yet how this one grounded because I don't have a side rivet anywhere. I've got this hole here, which this one does too. See? So this was the ground here. So how did this one ground? I don't know. I have no answer for that. But it's new old stock. Here's the part number on the box. All my literature's locked up, so I can't look this up. No, you're upside down. This way. There you go. That's the part number on the box. So, don't know what I'm going to do with that light yet. Here's another new old stock lens here. This is the number 12. So, no. I was discussing with a friend of mine I got that pile of literature with, what is some manufacturing technique. What they didn't do was make one mold and make a light lens. It didn't happen. They made a series of them. So 4 molds, or maybe 7 molds. And each one had a number. That way they know what lens came out of what mold if the mold went bad. When enough of them went bad, they chucked it and got a new mold. So we don't know how many they made in the sequence. Nobody knows. Never met anybody who says, yeah, I worked at Cycle Ray and that's what we did. And chances are all them guys are gone and nobody wrote it down. So you figure maybe 4 molds, maybe 12 molds, we don't know. What we do know is that the number corresponds with an earlier light to a degree. So the Cycle Ray headlight, like we're discussing, came out in 34. Was made throughout the Hummer days. I'm not sure exactly when they stopped it, but certainly through the 50s. And of course, your trikes, the Springer trikes all had the Cycle Ray lens on it and headlight. So we're still trying to discover that. I didn't pick up a Palmer's book and look it up and see what Palmer said. I'm discussing with you what I've found on actual motorcycles that I've seen and lights that I own and trying to determine what really happened. So there's too many inconsistencies in Palmer's book to go, well, that's what he said, so that's what happened. That's not necessarily what happened. So we're trying to discover the truth of this. So appearances are that prior to the war, we have some kind of weird internal grounding mechanism, which changed. We discovered 2 screw lights post-war and during the war. So we have a military headlight over there with a ground in the back. So certainly during the war, we have a grounding unit with a screw. And we discovered, as I said, 2 different screw holes for the screw, and we have the riveted light, which was certainly in use by 49. So you gotta remember these bikes were ridden. Things broke. And if you have an original paint machine, because a headlight broke, a speedo broke, as long as it's within the era, I personally feel it's perfectly fine because the stuff broke. All of the original paint bikes out there, and they bring them up to show and they go, well, it's got the right speedo. Oh really? Are you pulling the speedo off and looking at the date code? No. So how do you know it's got the right speedo? And even if it has the right date code, it still doesn't for sure tell us it wasn't changed. It just says maybe it wasn't changed. We do have a letter from Harley saying to the dealers that from now on, get your replacement speedos direct from Stuart Warner. What that means is that we're breaking so often, we don't even want to deal with it. Talk to the manufacturer, because it's wasting our time. There's too many. They broke a lot. So if you don't look at your date code, which we did have it put a link up on the YouTube. If you don't look at your date code on your speedo, you don't know what it is. So that's our little history as we know it today. of cycle ray lenses. If I find out more interesting facts on cycle rays, I will certainly make another video. So, as I mentioned the other day, this is why we're having so many knuckleheads, because we're trying to document the machine while it's still documentable. When my generation goes, all you young guys, you're going to be lost, because I'm second generation. My group is the last group that actually talked to the guys that were there. So if I don't document this now for everybody, we're going to lose it. That's what I'm trying to do. So thank you very much for your time and your support. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope it wasn't too long, and I will see you guys real soon. And please come up and say hi to me if you see me at the meet, because I can't see you. You're just looking at me. See you soon.